Welcome to another deep dive. Get ready to explore excerpts from Chapter 38,
Authentic self-love.
Authentic Self-Love of a Memoir, detailing the author's incredible journey of overcoming past trauma and finding her authentic self.
It's remarkable how the author uses her personal experiences to illustrate broader themes of spiritual growth, the power of the universe, and the importance of self-love.
Right. It's an incredibly relatable journey, even if our individual experiences are different. So let's unpack this, starting with the author's backstory. She doesn't shy away from her medical history, meningitis, sepsis, and Waterhouse-Friderichsen syndrome at 16. That's a lot to deal with at such a young age.
It is. And it's important to understand this context because it forms the foundation for her later journey of healing and transformation. She talks about the physical limitations she faced, skin grafts, muscle loss, and then 20 years of ITP with constantly crashing platelets. Imagine landing in the hospital every year and a half because of that.
That's intense. You can really sense the strength and resilience she had to develop just to navigate those challenges.
Absolutely. And that resilience becomes a key factor in her later journey of self-discovery.
Now, fast forward about 25 years. The author talks about a pivotal experience at a conference in Washington, D.C. in 2017. She felt this pull to attend, even though she'd intentionally avoided it in previous years.
It's like she intuitively knew something important was waiting for her there. This openness to new experiences, trusting her intuition, those are recurring themes in her story.
So she arrives at the conference dinner, and there's this reserved seat at her table for a mystery guest. Talk about intrigue.
Right. The mystery guest arrives, and the author is immediately captivated. She describes this woman as whimsical, yet strong, wise, yet compassionate, almost like a spiritual guide.
Okay, here's where it gets interesting. The mystery guest asks everyone at the table if they've ever been to the center of the universe. Naturally, everyone's curious.
Of course. And then she starts talking about the Einstein statue in D.C. and this concept of speaking intentions to the universe.
And this is where we see the author's deep connection to the ideas of universal intention and the law of attraction. She's been exploring these concepts for a while.
Yes, and suddenly here's this person talking about Einstein and universal intentions. Two things that have been central to the author's own inner exploration. What a synchronicity.
It's like the universe is orchestrating these events, bringing people and ideas together at just the right time. The mystery guest explained that the celestial grid at the base of the Einstein statue represents the center of the universe. And if you stand there and speak your intentions, the universe will echo them back to you.
It's a powerful way to visualize the idea that our thoughts and intentions have power, that we can co-create our reality.
The author is totally on board with this idea. She's determined to go to the Einstein statue and speak her intentions. And guess what? The whole group ends up going with her after dinner.
It's amazing how her enthusiasm is contagious. Even people who had been to D.C. many times before and never seen the statue are now intrigued.
On the way to the statue, the author is trying to pinpoint exactly what intentions she wants to speak. But she also realizes she needs to trust that the right intentions will come to her in the moment.
That's such a valuable lesson. Sometimes we overthink things, but true clarity often comes when we surrender to the present moment and trust our intuition. So there they are, a group of people drawn together by this mysterious woman standing before the Einstein statue at midnight. It really sets the stage for something extraordinary.
It does. And you know what's interesting? As they're headed to the statue, even more synchronicities start popping up. The author and the mystery guest share a ride, and during their conversation, the mystery guest mentions having studied in Bruges.
Which just happens to be the author's mother's favorite city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, the mystery guest says the phrase, something bones.
Which connects to the title of the book the author is writing about her medical journey. It's like these little hints are being dropped, suggesting a deeper connection, maybe even the author's mother's spirit orchestrating things.
It gives me chills.
Yeah.
They arrive at the statue, and for the author, it's a deeply moving moment. She sees it as representing strength, wisdom, and infinite possibilities.
Qualities she's been cultivating within herself, especially after facing so many physical challenges. It's like the statue embodies her own potential.
When it's her turn to speak her intentions, she chooses 3 words: strength, courage, and love.
Such powerful words, especially considering her journey. They represent the core values she's been embracing through her healing and self-discovery.
She really feels the universe echoing those words back to her, amplifying them. It's like a confirmation that she's on the right path, that the universe is supporting her intentions.
It's a wonderful image to hold on to, right? But we're just getting started. In part 2, we'll delve deeper into the aftermath of this experience and explore the profound impact it has on the author's life.
Welcome back. When we left off, the author had just experienced this incredible moment at the Einstein statue, declaring her intentions for strength, courage, and love to the universe.
And now we're going to see how those intentions start manifesting in her life in truly remarkable ways.
So the group takes their picture, with Einstein says their goodbyes and goes their separate ways for the night. The next day is the actual conference.
But here's a twist. The conference itself turns out to be a bit of a letdown. It's full of political roadblocks and tension, preventing any real engagement.
What a contrast to the magical night before.
It is. But the author doesn't let it dampen her spirits. She spends most of the conference catching up on work while the political drama unfolds around her.
And amidst all of this, she's hoping to connect with the mystery guest again. It's clear this encounter has really stayed with her.
She sees her briefly at lunch and then again towards the end of the conference. But it's not until everyone is leaving that they finally have a chance to speak.
The author spots the mystery guest walking across the back of the auditorium, as if looking for someone.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she's right there beside the author.
It makes you wonder about the workings of the universe, doesn't it?
It really does. The author expresses her gratitude for the experience at the Einstein statue and goes to hug the mystery guest goodbye. And in that moment, the mystery guest says, "There you are," and encourages her to stay in touch.
But what's intriguing is the author's initial reaction. She questions whether the mystery guest was really looking for her. She doubts the sincerity of the moment.
And she recognizes this as a sign of her own lack of self-love. She's struggling to believe that someone could genuinely care for her, could see her worth, could be drawn to her light.
It's a reminder that even as we experience these profound spiritual shifts, the old patterns of self-doubt can linger. It's an ongoing process of unlearning those limiting beliefs.
So the author and 3 colleagues decide to do some sightseeing in D.C. that night. And get this, they walk for 5 hours.
5 hours. After years of physical limitations and mindful walking, it speaks to the power of intention and the energetic shifts she's experiencing. Remember, one of the intentions she spoke at the statue was strength.
And she describes it as an exhilarating experience, walking with ease and joy. It's as if the physical limitations she's believed in for so long are dissolving.
This also highlights how interconnected our physical and spiritual selves really are.
As she's falling asleep that night, the author reflects on the whole trip. The butterfly, the mystery guest, the Einstein statue, the synchronicities. She senses something profound is unfolding.
She's in a state of surrender and trust, allowing the universe to guide her.
Once she's back home, she finds the mystery guest's email address and sends her a message expressing gratitude for the experience. She shares why the encounter was so meaningful to her.
And notice how she's still referring to it as an encounter, not fully grasping the depth of the connection that's forming.
She mentions a comment the mystery guest made at dinner about being fascinated by people, and she says that the mystery guest is an example of why she, the author, is also intrigued by people, because sometimes you encounter someone who truly touches your soul.
It's a beautiful acknowledgement of the impact this woman has had on her.
Later that day, the author receives a response to her email. And this is where things get really powerful. The mystery guest thanks the author for her message, saying it touched her heart and soul.
And remember, this is someone who just met the author, who only spent a few hours with her in person. Yet there's already this deep sense of connection.
The mystery guest even points out that she and the author were the closest to Einstein's heart in the group photo, another synchronicity that the author hadn't even noticed.
Like the universe is sending these little wings, confirming the significance of this connection.
The mystery guest goes on to say that she was moved to tears by the author's words, that everything the author expressed resonated with her as well. She thanks the author for trusting her and for sharing the excerpts from her book.
It's such a genuine exchange of energy between them.
And then comes a line that stops the author in her tracks. The mystery guest writes, "I met you in the light of divinity. You are a true light being."
Wow, powerful words. What do you think that means to the author at this point in her journey?
I think at this point she's still trying to understand it. The author's never heard the term light being before and doesn't fully grasp what it means. But she feels the truth of it. It's like a validation of everything she's been experiencing, a confirmation of her spiritual awakening.
It's amazing how a simple phrase can have such a profound impact.
Remember the night sweats the author mentioned earlier? The ones that started when she began writing her book. Well, the night she receives this email is the first night in 264 nights that her sweats stop.
Wow, what a synchronicity. It's as if being recognized as a light being has shifted something energetically, bringing a sense of peace and healing.
The author even notices that the sweats return later when she's facing new challenges. It's like they're a barometer of her spiritual growth, a sign that she's being pushed to expand and evolve.
It's a good reminder that growth isn't always linear or comfortable, but it's all part of the process.
Then the author shares a really interesting insight. She realizes that she can channel spirit through writing. It takes her 3 days to fully process the message from the mystery guest and articulate her own understanding of what it means to be a light being.
That makes you think about how we use creative expression to connect with ourselves and understand our experiences.
Right. Through her writing, the author comes to understand that the mystery guest was divinely placed in her life to help her connect with her own truth. The mystery guest brought strength, courage, and love into the author's world, mirroring those very qualities back to her.
It's a beautiful example of how we attract what we resonate with.
And she even says that she trusted what she saw in the mystery guest because she recognized those same qualities within herself.
Exactly. The author describes the mystery guest as a spiritual grounding force, a bridge between her inner and physical spirits.
That phrase, spiritual grounding force, I love that.
Yeah.
It suggests that true spiritual growth isn't about escaping the physical world, but about integrating our spiritual nature into our everyday lives. The author then recounts another powerful experience earlier in her journey, an encounter with a vibrant orange butterfly.
This ties in beautifully with the mystery guest's fleeting presence. It's as if both the butterfly and the mystery guest were messengers from the spiritual realm offering guidance and support.
She felt a deep connection to her deceased mother in that moment, as if her mother's spirit was present in the butterfly.
It's as if her mother is saying, "I'm here with you on this journey."
The author starts to see synchronicities and connections everywhere. She's realizing that the universe is constantly communicating with us if we're open to receiving its messages.
And this is where the real transformation begins the author's journey from self-doubt to self-love. She begins to understand that loving herself isn't about being selfish. It's about honoring all parts of herself, her body, her mind, her heart, and her soul.
She realizes that she needs to choose herself, even if it means making choices that others might not understand. Setting boundaries, honoring her needs, and living in alignment with her true self.
It's about recognizing that we can't pour from an empty cup. We need to fill ourselves up first in order to truly give to others.
The author describes it as a process of cultivating a new definition and level of honor when it comes to matters of her heart. She's no longer willing to settle for anything less than what truly nourishes her.
And this new level of self-love starts to radiate outwards. She begins to attract more love into her life, experiencing a beautiful cycle of love, manifesting love.
She compares this to the wobbly first steps she took during her physical recovery years ago. Now she's taking those same tentative steps towards spiritual wholeness, integrating her physical and spiritual selves.
It's a reminder that growth is a journey, not a destination. There will be stumbles along the way, but each step forward brings us closer to our true selves.
She even mentions that she had to learn to embrace the parts of herself she didn't understand, including her hypersensitivity to energy.
It's about accepting all of who we are, even the messy, complicated parts.
This is where authentic self-love comes in. It's not about perfection or denying our flaws. It's about accepting ourselves unconditionally.
Exactly. And she realizes that she had been unknowingly fueling her own physical ailments by focusing on the wrong energy, by allowing fear to override her healing.
She had to learn how to foster her own spiritual superpowers, to trust her intuition and inner wisdom.
It's about recognizing and stepping into our own power.
She beautifully describes her life storyline as becoming less mystifying, as she learns to exist in the truths within her mind while also finding peace in her soul. It's a love story with herself, with source energy, with the forces greater than herself.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about coming home to ourselves, to our true nature, to the love that resides within.
And she acknowledges the interconnectedness of it all, realizing that the steps she's taking are also impacting those around her. It's a reminder that our personal journeys of healing and transformation ripple outward, creating positive change in the world.
Just like she was impacted by the mystery guest and the orange butterfly, she now has the capacity to impact others.
Exactly. She compares herself to that beautiful butterfly that touched her life, bringing a message from her mother. Now she's realizing that she too can be a source of light and healing for others.
It's a beautiful cycle.
She describes this as a process of floating and connecting to spirit, so that she can live comfortably in her body and enjoy it while in love.
What a beautiful image. It speaks to the integration of our spiritual and physical selves, finding joy and peace in the present moment.
And she leaves us with this powerful thought. As I began to fall in love with myself again, the more I fell in love with life again. The more I fell in love with life, the more interconnected I became. The more interconnected I became, the more love I manifested into my reality. The more I experienced love manifested, the more I fell in love with love itself. The more I fell in love with love, the more I felt like an energetic magnet attracting love. It was a beautiful, self-perpetuating cycle of love manifesting love.
It reminds us that love is not just an emotion, but a force that connects us all. When we cultivate love within ourselves, we create a ripple effect that touches everyone we encounter.
So what does this all mean for you? The author's journey shows us the power of aligning with our true selves, embracing our spiritual nature, and allowing love to guide us.
It's a reminder that healing, transformation, and authentic self-love are always possible. We just have to be open to the journey.
What intentions would you speak at the center of the universe? And what synchronicities are you noticing in your life right now? Remember, you are capable of creating a life filled with purpose, meaning, and love.